Hello everybody and welcome to another Ask Nerida Joy video. We are up to our fourth facial here with Kelly, and this is our last facial with Kelly. Her skin is looking stunning. It's so great. And again, she's walked in and said, oh, it's at that time, and I've got just one little spot that's come up on her cheek. I have not seen Kelly for the whole month since we were here doing our last shoot. So this is the first time I've seen her. Her skin looks great. She doesn't have any of those bumps under the skin which she had so many in the beginning. And it's smooth. It's really pretty. And we haven't even started. So I wanted to go over what we've done with Kelly over the past 3 months. And her first treatment, you can see the photos of her when we first started working with her, how her skin was, how it was so congested and bumpy, and she was eating a lot more dairy. That was a big part of her diet. And so we've eliminated that out of her diet, and that's how Kelly is able to maintain keeping those bumps away. So once we got rid of we cleaned up the diet, and once we got rid of them, we extracted them and got those little bumps out of her skin. Her skin has been really smooth ever since. Facial number 2, we were dealing with some scarring. She was still still had a few spots on her skin, but her skin, she still was quite red and pink, and you can see in the photos again how her skin was after facial number 2. Facial number 3, the same, clearing up tremendously, very little ruddiness on her skin. Her pore size is a lot smaller, and now I'm looking at her skin right now. It's really good. Her skin's really clean. I know she's being really good with her regimen. Her pore size in particular is amazing. It's so small. I wish you could see what I'm seeing here. And it's just really pretty. So her skin's really clean. What we do have once you've cleaned up a skin, you've got rid of the pustules and papules, and you no longer have, the scarring is a lot better. We did, in her last facial, we did a peel on her, and you can see her scarring is significantly better on her face since we did the peel. We could possibly do another one in 6 months or so if she would like to go through that again. It wasn't too terrible, I think you said, but just a few days of peeling. We have pictures of that too, where she shows the steps of the peel, but her scarring is significantly better again. And so moving forward here with this facial, I'm going to work with something that I have not worked with before, and that is the conditioning formula. And it is a product that is designed for oily skin, but it's for oily skin that doesn't have pustules and papules. It's just when someone has a lot of blackheads, has open pores, and not that Kelly has really open pores because she no longer does, but it's for that really oily, open-pored, just someone who's got a lot of oil. And throughout the summer months, because we are coming into the summer now, what the sun does and just heat, it stimulates sebaceous activity. So anything that can help dry up that oil and just keep that under control. And it also helps keep your pore size small, and that is the conditioning formula. Professional product conditioning formula, but it also comes in retail, which is half strength. As I said, I have not seen Kelly for 1 month. I'm super excited to see how pretty her skin looks. Her pore size is great. Her texture's great, and she doesn't have those bumps under her skin. It's so smooth. And I'm going to, with tonight's facial treatment, I'm going to be cleansing her skin. I'm going to do an exfoliant. I'm going to work in a little bit of my favorite flavonoid treatment on her skin. And then I'm going to be putting the conditioning formula on her, which she'll be going home with it on. That product itself is something that it goes on the skin. It stays on alone with nothing under it and nothing over it. It works on shrinking pore size, but more importantly, just really drying up and keeping that oil at bay. So for someone who's really oily and they find they just get so shiny, the conditioning formula or the skin conditioning formula in the retail is really good to use. And it's something that stays on the skin at least 8 hours, but as I said before, nothing under it and nothing over it. So that's what we're going to be doing on her today. So I'm cleansing off with my favorite cleanser, the K cleanser. and it's a non-foaming gel cleanser, and I'm just cleansing her skin. Kelly just told me that she said that she's been really diligent with her sunscreen, because when you do go through a peel, having a peel done, the skin is a little bit more sensitive to the sun, like as if you're using retinols and AHAs, and of course she is using AHAs anyway on a regular basis, on a daily basis at home, but her skin would be a little more sensitive to the sun, so it's really good that she's using a non-comedogenic sunscreen, and that's a very important part of your daily regimen. So now I'm just removing the K-cleanser, and we've just worked that into the skin, and I'm removing it with disposable sponges. Her skin is so clean and her pore size is so good, and I can tell she's being really good with her diet, because I can see that she doesn't have any of those bumps coming back, so that's really important, that she be really diligent with staying off dairy. Now this one here is the Exfoliating Mask. It is an absorbing mask. It has a buffing effect on the epidermis. It's what we call a surface regenerative. It has a little lemon peel powder. It has a little glycolic in it. It has the papaya enzyme papuan, and it also has a little bit of chamomile. Tingles a little bit on the skin. It says on the tube to leave it on 15 minutes, but I say, no, don't do that. Leave it on only a couple of minutes, work it into the skin, and then take it off with cool water. So there are other really good enzyme peels out there as well, and any of them that have that buffing effect on the epidermis are really great. I'm just not a huge fan of granules, although it would be good for some people, but just not for a lot of people. It doesn't, and I find that most of my clients tend to be a little bit sensitive, their skin. So if someone's skin's a little bit sensitive, I don't want to use a scrub on that skin. And I think if you look under a Maggie lamp and you see a very magnified lamp and you see what the little granules do to the surface of the skin, they really scratch the skin up. And I don't think that's great, because then it forms scar tissue, which is why it gets thickened. It's like if you don't wear shoes on the bottom of your feet and you're walking around in sand all day long, the soles of your feet are going to thicken. And that's what happens with the skin. If you exfoliate it too much with little granules, it's going to thicken the outer layer. And then it's harder to get product to absorb into the skin when it's thicker, and it's also harder for oil to come out. So that's why it's not ideal. You are better to work with something that has more of a buffing effect, and it gets rid of the dryness, it eats away at those dead cells, but it also leaves the skin really pretty, and it allows for better absorption and for oil to get out. So you will have much better results with that type of a peel. So now we've removed the exfoliating mask. So we're just working a little bit of the flavonoid into Kelly's skin. I mixed a little bit of healing gel with it. As you can see, I don't have an abundance of products on my trolley. I just have very specific things that work with certain conditions. And when you're working with acne, there are a lot of different types of acne. There's so many different forms, but there's also different reasons as to why people have acne. So it's very important that you have your tools to be able to treat the different types of acne. A lot of acne, although people are on different medication for it, either antibiotics or the Accutane, sometimes it's just food related and changing somebody's diet, and you can completely get rid of their acne, which is really, we did clean Kelly's skin, but we've done, I think this is her 5th, because I did a facial in between her treatments, maybe her 5th or maybe 6th facial that I've ever done on Kelly, and look at her skin. It's gorgeous, so it doesn't require an abundance if you know what you're doing, if you're working with it in the correct way. The biggest thing for Kelly was going off dairy, and that's what's really changed her skin tremendously. So we've worked this into the skin, the flavonoid, for just a couple of minutes. You want to make sure, you get down under the jawline. Kelly mentioned that she had a little rash on her neck earlier, that it wasn't pimples, but it was more of a rash. So we're just working that into the skin. So I've just finished exfoliating Kelly's skin. We've done the exfoliant on her, which has that buffing effect. It's got the lemon peel powder, the papaya, it has a little glycolic, and it also has a little bit of chamomile in it. It has that buffing effect on the epidermis, so it leaves the skin really pretty. The skin can that way breathe and absorb treatment products as well, which is so great. The skin, Kelly's skin just looks so beautiful. She was saying that she was using a scrub she used to use that apricot scrub on her skin every single day before I saw her 4 months ago, and now she's just doesn't have the bumps. Her skin texture is really pretty. I did have another lady tell me earlier today, she had shown me some pictures of her grandmother's skin, and she had a lot of very dark melasma on her cheek. She said she had a few freckles originally, but she was told if she uses sugar and lemon every day on her skin as a scrub, that it will lighten up the freckles. And now, as a result of the lemon and the scrub, that the sugaring that she was doing every day, she has so much melasma, just a huge brown spot on her cheek. So that is clearly something that people have to be very careful with, is scrubs and just how they work on your skin and what you're mixing them with. And also making sure that you use a really good sunscreen, because sunscreen is so important. That physical, the titanium and zinc is really important to having a sunscreen. And it's just really, really important, especially living here in California where we just have so much sun all the time. So that's really important. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off her skin, the flavonoid and the healing gel, and then I'm going to put that conditioning formula on. Now, normally I would not be removing it and just putting a moisturizer on her skin maybe to go to sleep, because these are shorter facials tonight. This is our final one of filming Kelly, but we are going to ask Kelly to please keep sending us photos of her skin and just keep us updated so we can post them out on social for you all to see how she's doing with her skin. And plus, we don't want to lose touch with her. She's become such a part of our work. Kelly had sent me this picture, and she had turned her face up to the side, and I could really see where she had so many little bumps on her skin. And she said, look at my, look at how it used to be. So her skin is just so different now. There's just no bumps. It's great. It's so clean. So here we have the conditioning formula, and I'm putting a little bit here on cotton, and we're just going to put a thin coat of it all over the face. It's a liquid. It is what she's going to be going to bed with this on her face. It must stay on for at least 8 hours, so that's why it's good to use it at night time, and you do not put anything under it and nothing over it, so it stays alone on the skin. And this particular product is what really helps to dry up the oil. Although Kelly's skin is great, and her pore size is just so amazing. But there are a lot of skins out there where the skin almost looks like an orange peel, and it's very oily, and they're oily right out here to the sides of the ear and even inside the ear itself. Now, that type of skin that's just a ton of blackheads and a ton of oil is really going to benefit from the conditioning formula. So again, just whenever you're applying anything, make sure you do that upward motion. You're getting under the fine facial hair on the cheeks. We've put the conditioning formula on Kelly's skin. This is how she's going to go to bed, and it stays on for the 8 hours, as I said. Kelly's skin, the pore size is so great. I mean, it's just so pretty. Her skin looks so good, and I'm so happy that we were able to make her skin so much better, and in such short time. It just looks very different you'll see from before and after photos that how her skin used to be from where we are at right now. We're going into month number 4. I'm putting a little eye gel just high up here around her eyes. I don't want to get it down on the areas where she has oil, so we're putting it very close up under the eye area here. When most people that tend to have a really oily skin, they have oil quite high up under their eyes as well. And then you've got that area very close directly under the eye where there's no sebaceous activity. So So it's just important to make sure that you are treating that area. And when you're, having cleaning done, you're having extractions. A lot of this area here doesn't get cleaned out really well because either they have goggles on their face because of the light, or they have iPads on. So it's really important to sort of get right close up here by the eye and close by the ears and inside the ear. And this little extractor, Comedone extractor, is the best tool for inside the ear. So it's good to just check and make sure, because some people have really big blackheads inside their ear, especially if their skin's really oily. And this is the tool that you use. So we have now finished with Kelly's facial treatment. This was a shorter facial treatment tonight, of course. We have not done any extractions on her. Her skin is very clean. I had not seen her for a month. I am very happy. I know she's doing her home care, and I know she's really taking care of her inside organs because of her eating has changed tremendously. So thank you for joining us. Kelly, thank you for being here with us. She's going to be sending us photos, so we will keep in touch with her. And thanks again. Bye.